This is part 2 of an overview of my story, and before I let it roll, I just want to give like a trigger warning. If you were triggered by sexual abuse and things like that, then please just skip this video, alright? Because I'm talking about things that happened when I was little, living at my house. 5 younger sisters. And we're all crammed in this house of chaos. Just pure fucking chaos all the time. And I was constantly either being yelled at or overlooked. One night, when I was about 11, one of my younger sisters, we're all asleep. We're in the bed. One of my younger sisters comes in to my bedroom and wakes me up. And she asked me if I would kiss her like they do in the movies. What are you doing, dog? And I was like, no. She was persistent. I continued to say no until she breaks down and physically starts crying, sobbing on me at the bed. Being a child, I already didn't know what in the fuck to do. That is the most motherfucking confusing situation I have ever remember being in. Definitely at that point. I went with it. I don't know. I was a child. I just did it. She stopped crying. We both seemed to enjoy it. This is not very comfortable to talk about in this way, but I've told people, but I've never really talked about it publicly. Fast forward a few days, the fooling around continues until we have a babysitter, and then my mom comes home early, and then boom, we get caught. Okay. Obviously, my mom is fucking livid, like flipping the fuck out. I mean, flipping the fuck out on me. Understandably, I suppose. But I tried again and again and again and again to tell her exactly what happened from the very beginning, because this whole thing started from some shit I didn't even understand. I've never, to that point, seen my mother look at me with so much fucking hatred and disgust. I was already ashamed, but we were children. I didn't get it. And then I was way far beyond just shamed. Like, I was freaking just humiliated. And however else is that she made me feel. And then I was forced to go live with my father, who, thank God, had just recently met my stepmom, who's passed away now, and she worked for the Child Advocacy Center. So that saved my ass in a ton of ways for him to have met her and moved in with her and her 2 kids. Saved my ass from living with the being that was my father. And as my stepmother and I, because this is what she did for a living, talked about these things over the years, especially later on, she was like, there's something else going on. There's something else going on, because that doesn't just happen. Like, she knew, because she came at it from a neutral perspective. She had no bias about me. Well, I guess she did, but not like my mother. My mother saw my father in me. My stepmother, though, was viewing it from a psychological point of view and all these other things. She was viewing me as a child, my sister as a child, and like what was really going on, because something else happened or was happening that caused my sister to come into my room and ask for that. My brain didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know. I did it to make her feel better. And then it was fun, so we continued to do it. It just came out just a few years back. That was my stepfather that had been molesting my sister. So she came into my room, I suppose either A, it was just a cry for help, or B, it was like, hey, I guess this is normal, somewhat normal for us to do. Like, it seemed like a mixture of both. Like, I love you and you're my big brother. I don't like what's happening. Can you please help me? Can you make me feel better? Somewhere in there. That man was drinking and drugging himself to death, and seemed to have all these psychological issues. Was trying to kill himself and things. But in hindsight, the psychological issue was that he was fighting that demon and he lost. And he was doing what he was doing and he didn't want to live with himself. But my mother was not letting him die. She did everything in her fucking power to help get him better. Everything, like, to the point where eventually she had him vegetabilized on medication and stuff. He went to the hospital for an extended period of time and came out a vegetable, where she like cared for him and all these things, and like, because it didn't come out yet. It had not come out yet. It went a long time. Like, I was little bitty, 10 or 11, and this just came out probably less than 3 years ago, what actually happened. But my mother never heard me. She never heard me. I was still a perpetrator for what I had done as that 10 or 11-year-old child. Never heard me. Never cared to.